Hello friends, ISB, the Indian School of Business. The name spells magic to youngsters, to graduates, to people who want a career in management. Arguably, one of the best 4 institutes in the country, if not the best. I would rate it among the top 4, along with I am Ahmedabad, I am Bangalore and I am Calcutta. Who am I? The Financial Times rates it much above these also. It's one of the top 50 B schools in the world, rated by the FT. Now, what is ISB all about? Introduced in Hyderabad quite some time back, ISB offers a 1-year postgraduate program in management. It has 3 programs. One is the PGP, the postgraduate program, which takes people with 2 years experience. That's mandatory. It also takes the GMAT or the GRE score and several other attributes of a candidate. The second program is the EEO, the early entry option. The early entry option is for the people who have less than 24 months or 2 years work experience, and those who are desirous of going to ISB and then do a PGPM there. Their seat will be reserved as and when they can complete the 24 months program mandatory requirement. They could go and join in that year. Their seat, for example, if you are completing your 2-year experience in 2022 by January, you can start the 2022 program there. Even if you apply today, your seat will be reserved for the 2022. The third is the YLP program. This is necessarily something like the Harvard 2+2 kind of program. For a student who is in the 3rd year of his engineering or a 4-year degree, or who is in the final year of his whatever degree, he can apply to this program with a GMAT score, and then he can join them after completing his graduation and finishing 24 months of work ex, post-qualification work ex. That's what they talk about. The work experience before the qualification is not counted. As the ISB looks at its admissions, and as we see their website, they talk about 3 major qualities in their admissions. They look for academic qualifications, they look for leadership potential, and they look for personal attributes. These 3. Academic qualifications as in your 10th standard grades, your 12th standard grades, your graduation grades, they all have to be competitive. Now, how good they are, is there any minimum? No. They take people from diverse backgrounds. So, obviously, an MBBS student you cannot expect an MBBS student to get the same percentage as, say, an engineering student or a maths student. Obviously, there are variations in this country in the way the universities mark their students and so on and so forth. Therefore, they normalize all these, the academic record. Then the GRE and GMAT, one of them is required, either GRE or the GMAT, and it's a top requirement. You need to be very competitive. Again, ISB doesn't say that this is the minimum that we want, but from my experience, I've seen number of students go in ISB, 700 plus is very competitive. Anything above 680 is competitive too, provided the student or the candidate has other attributes and other academic record in a very, very good shining place. Like we said, the most important component is the GMAT score. What is GMAT? Graduate Management Aptitude Test conducted by the GMAC. It's a computer adaptive test. Therein lies the difference between GMAT and many other such examinations like CAT or other exams in the world or in India. The GMAT tests 4 sections again: analytical writing ability, scored or scaled between 0 and 6, integrated reasoning, scale between 0 and 8, verbal ability and quantitative ability with a score of 0 to 60. Oftentimes, people end up with scoring 51 and 49 to get a high score of 740 plus in these 2 areas. The most important part of the score is a 200 to 800 component of the GMAT integrated score. It depends on the verbal score plus the quantitative ability score. The other 2 scores are differently given to you, and most of the B schools consider the GMAT integrated score upon 800. Therefore, a lot of people say that if you get a 700 plus is good enough. However, any score above 5 on AWA and above 6 on integrated reasoning are considered to be pretty good in fact. The verbal ability tests your sentence correction, reading comprehension and critical reasoning, these 3 components. There are 41 questions in the verbal ability. And the quantitative ability test, the problem solving skills and the data sufficiency skills, and 37 questions are there in this. If you start answering the GMAT paper, if you answer, for example, one question, and if it is wrong, the next question is going to be of easier in nature, and if it is correct, it could be harder in nature. The GMAT examination pattern adjusts to the level of the student and springs questions from a data bank to that level. Therefore, it immaculately, or at least it is supposed to immaculately measure the right skills and the right score of a given candidate. But it's not easy to prepare for a GMAT because of the time management problem that is there, because of the difficulty levels that keep on increasing as you keep on answering correctly, and the kind of English that is used in GMAT is not very Indian, unlike the other Indian examinations. Therefore, you need to really prepare for GMAT properly, particularly the verbal ability section for all the Indian students, and then nothing hard to score above 700 as far as GMAT is concerned. Friends, with a good GMAT score or with a good GRE score and with good background, with good academic background and attributes, if you are a third year student, for example, you build attributes and you build your record such that some leadership potential is shown, is displayed in your resume. With that, I sign off. Thank you very much for listening to me. All the best to your future.